This is the Real Mom Hub.
Keep listening for relatable content.
And so, it's not to say I'm not a nice person. I like nice interactions, but I want this to be a space of.
I feel like the longer we record, you feel like you have to say that like more and more. Like, I promise I'm a nice person.
I'm a nice person. No, I'm nice. Like, I'm nice.
I never cared about
right?
like nice.
Well, it's because like I just don't have the effort to really put towards it. I think I'm kind, but like
yes, I was just going to say that exact thing. You don't have to be nice. It's okay. You can be kind and not nice. Okay.
Thank you.
So here's in my experience, I feel like moms are pretty real in real life. Like if you meet one on the street, even if she looks so put together, I do still feel like in general, it's just a realness that in person I almost always feel. Like I'm making up a number, but I bet like 80% of the time I feel a kindred bond, a realness. It's on the computer or on my phone that it doesn't come through. When you're stuck at home with a newborn or what have you, that's what you have. And that's when it, for me, is the most difficult to feel the support or feel like people are going through the same thing. Or like during COVID is when I'm trying to rely on my phone or that means of connecting with moms.
So there's this disconnect between what we experience online and how we are in our lives day to day. But
yeah, which I think everyone
so
would be
much
like,
of where we're
"Duh,"
sourcing. Of course, it's nothing new. It's nothing groundbreaking, but it is something that we all brush shoulders with all the time because if we have a question about our kids' nutrition or like what's going on in their life behaviorally,
Google it.
I mean, there are experts. Google it. Yeah. Okay. Do they have any tips on Instagram? Or like, I'm not on TikTok, but I hear it's actually very helpful. You know, there are these resources that we tap and they're so incredible. And on the same flip of the coin, you might be scrolling and saying, okay, Claire, do you always look like that on Monday at like 5 a.m. after you've done a 5K and, you know, finally you're getting your breakfast ready for your kids just so you can start your day at 6? Like, oh my God. Like yeah.
Oh no, and it wasn't a 5K.
It's a double-edged
running's
sword.
Out now. It was definitely weightlifting and HIIT activities. Yep.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah. Did you know running's out now?
Yeah, no, running is no, I didn't.
Yeah,
I was just playing around trying to be cool because I had no idea. Yeah, I want this space to be a place where we connect with our larger community. Like we have our like a tight circle, like we have our go-tos, but I want that larger community of experts, of friends, of friends, of friends, of acquaintances, honestly, of just moms who are doing life differently than me. And I want to hear about the differences. I want this to be a place where we celebrate that. And I'm being told as a woman, no, there's not one way to do this mom thing. Like you're on a journey, you're figuring it out. It can look different for your second kid versus your first. I do it so differently than you, and I do it so well. I want a little perspective. I want to be pulled out of my own little bubble. I want to learn, and I want to do it authentically. I want to have,
even between ourselves, we came from the same parenting, and we have so much of the same idealism for how we want our families to look. And there's still a lot that's different. And we're sort of this first generation of our friend groups to have kids. And so, at least for me, it's really becoming apparent just how different it has to look for everybody. And that's something I don't think I fully understood before doing it. And even how different it has to look from kid 1 to kid 2. Not because I chose it, but it just is that way. And it just needs to be different for all of us.
Oh, they're different people. It's different. The kind of attention you can give both of them is now different. I'm struck by, as I'm having more conversations with moms at every point in their life, I've heard a few times women saying, oh, I think your generation's the first where it's possible to have equal participation from both parents.
I've heard that too.
Like you've actually reached the point where we're socially conditioned to the point where men are equally responsible. It might look a little different. We can still talk about the mental load. That's, I think, also amazing, and that's a gift. So I'm curious to hear about how other couples are doing that well, because that's not necessarily something most of us have good role models for.
And on the flip side, because I've done the full time, both of us working full time outside the home, now we're not. Now I'm doing more. I need to also hear from families that aren't doing that because I'm finding myself just annoyed or frustrated when I'm the load bearer for the dinner prep. But also, I was home that day. So, like, I'm also having to flip my own narrative, even from the first couple of years we did parenting together, because now it does look different. And now I am choosing more of a homemaker, 60%, 40% homemaker, moneymaker. So I am also going through this whole thing of wanting more of that because my mindset was, yeah, we're going to be equal. We're going to do this newfangled, which I still love. However, it's not how it's looking for us right now.
The way you thought it would. And I need to back up
Yeah.
and be really clear. When I say equal, we're the first generation to do it equally. I don't ever want to be siloing either one of our parents into seemingly having done less than the other, because that's not what I mean at all.
Mm-hmm.
There was just more separation of roles in terms of
Yeah.
having economic responsibility within the family
Yes.
versus household responsibility. They were both
Yep.
incredibly active, engaged parents. So that is not what I mean at all. It seems like there's more equal distribution in terms of both being breadwinners,
Yeah.
both having the ability or the expectation of doing laundry and household tasks. And
I wonder if balanced is a better word.
sure, I think that's a much better. I think the balance is, and the engagement expected on both sides
Yeah.
is looking different.
Yeah. It always has to, like, the balance is always changing too. So like it never can be equal for
Hmm.
me, which is also hard for my black and my brain.
Yeah, it's this messy thing. And then, like, how do you do marriage? How do you show up for yourself
When you're not sleeping? Great question.
when you're not sleeping? And for me, I'm in the phase of being so touched out all the time. Are you supposed to have a
Yeah.
romantic relationship
Yeah.
while you're, making flow charts about your chore list for the week? Like,
Are you doing that?
it's a lot.
Are you making
No, but
flowcharts?
I've
Oh
been
my god.
no, I don't make a flow chart. But for me, like Kyle and I would say neither of us are people pleasers. We both like to do what we like to do, and we both like to have autonomy in our lives. So I've
Yeah.
I've actually been adamantly opposed to the concept of a honey-do list. Like, I'm not going to tell him what to do for our life. We're going to mutually agree on what we want, and then we're going to go do the things that need to get. And now it's like, okay, so here's your list. Do you want me to text it to you? Do you want me to put it on the whiteboard? And I'm like, who am I? But it's what needs to happen in order to efficiently get things done for the greater good.
Okay, you know what's
And it's
funny is
not sexy.
that's also what needs to happen in our household, but it's totally opposite. We are both people pleasers. So Kev wants to make me happy, and I don't want him to feel like I'm this authoritarian, whatever, because I can be. Like, I can just step right into CEO mode. That's sort of my go to, but I don't want him to feel that way. However, he doesn't read between the lines. He hates that shit. So he would rather I just say, can you please do these things? And so we're also finding that, but in a very different roundabout way.
See, and it's just really different
Sure
for
is.
everyone. And this is all to say, balance looks different depending on the day, depending on the season. It's messy, and I'm here to sit in the mess, explore the mess, and I'm really excited about
Do I
hearing
have to?
about other people's messes.
Yeah, I'd rather do that than sit
Sit
in
in the
my own.
mess. Well, there's triumph on the other side of the mess. So I want to
There
hear the
is.
wins too. I want to celebrate the wins.
So we're going to talk to moms and hear their stories and learn from them and hear their mess and forget our own mess. It's going to be great.
Or apply their mess, like how are they handling this
Fine.
piece of their mess? Because I actually really needed to hear that today.
Yeah. Well, and we just really want to be women supporting women. I think that's probably our underlying thing. And the mom thing just is, it's so entrenched in our life right now that we can't really talk about being women without being moms. That's just who we are.
I do think what you just brought up was so important. Like the honesty in saying we're mentally, hormonally, emotionally hardwired to prioritize these tiny beings right now. And I would rather celebrate that. But there are spaces in your life, or in my life at least, where that is not celebrated as a value that I still need to show up in as a woman, such as like work. I mean, that's the big one. So I do think we need to be honest about the fact that, yeah, when we're talking about being women, this is just frankly our experience right now. And motherhood is so fresh and raw and all consuming that we do need, that is going to color everything for us for the rest of our lives. Anyways, really excited to build a village with you in this digital space. And honestly, depending on how this goes, maybe we'll get some real life friends too. Maybe we'll have some digital friends and some,
I'm a real friend.
additional friends, okay?
Yeah, that sounds better. Some additional.
No, community. Like,
Yes,
let's build some community together. I'm excited about
women
it.
Up.
I'm here for it.
The mess. I am here for the mess. I just need to clarify that. Emily is nice, and I'm here for the mess. No, Emily's not nice, and I hate the mess, but we're working on that together, folks.
Oh my gosh. Well, this has been nice. Love you, bye.
Love you, bye. You've been listening to The Real Mom Hub. Our music is by Naomi O'Leary. You can find us on social at The Real Mom Hub. We're not the authority or even very educated on the medical issues discussed. Do your own research, talk to an expert, make your own decisions, and call us if you learn anything new.
If you like what you hear, follow us on Instagram, or better yet, subscribe to our newsletter. If you don't, that's fine. We can all move on. Our purpose here is community, so if we've resonated with you, tell a friend.
Thanks for listening.